Welcome to today's episode of the Pink Door podcast. We are going to jump right in. This is a serious deep dive into the November 2025 real estate market data for Duxbury, Massachusetts. That's zip code 02332. And our mission here is pretty simple. We've got this whole stack of sources, MLS stats, RPR reports, all the closing details, and we're going to give you the shortcut. We want to answer the big questions. Is Duxbury still a hot market? Are interest rates finally cooling things off? And maybe most importantly, what does it actually cost to win a house there right now?
Right. And it's important to frame this correctly. We're looking at a really specific window.
Yeah.
November 1st through the 30th, 2025. We're talking single-family homes, condos, townhouses, the whole residential mix.
Yeah.
And, the narrative that comes out when you blend the MLS data with the RPR metrics is crystal clear.
Yeah.
November was really defined by two things: incredibly tight supply and just fierce buyer competition, especially at the higher price points.
Okay, so let's start with the health check. The overall vibe of the market. When we talk scarcity, we have to start with inventory. How tight are we talking?
Critically tight. The number you need to remember is 2.48 months of inventory. MOI.
Okay, so 2.48. For anyone who doesn't live and breathe this, what does that actually mean?
It means if no new homes came on the market, it would take just under 2.5 months to sell everything available. A balanced market is more like 5 or 6 months. So Duxbury isn't just a seller's market. It is a severely supply-constrained market.
Now, I did see something interesting in that number. It was actually up, 12.37% from October. Does that mean things are starting to cool off? Is that a trend?
That's a great question. And it's really about context. The only reason that increase looks big is because the starting point in October was so low.
Oh.
Supply is still historically low. That little bump,
Yeah.
it just gets swallowed by demand almost immediately. It's not a trend reversal, more like a tiny gasp for air. And that scarcity is what's driving the speed.
The velocity.
The velocity. And the numbers there tell a story of real urgency. The median days in RPR was just 13 days.
I mean, that's fast. If you're a buyer, that means you have less than 2 weeks to see a house, make a decision, and get an offer accepted.
Exactly.
But here's the detail that caught my eye. That 13-day figure, it's actually up 30% from the month before. So if competition is so fierce, why is it taking buyers longer to pull the trigger? Are they getting a little more selective? Maybe nervous?
That is a very insightful observation.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the market's falling apart. I think it means the A-plus properties, perfectly priced, perfectly staged, they're still gone in a weekend.
Okay.
But maybe for a house that's a little dated or priced a bit aggressively, buyers are taking an extra week. They're still competing, but they're doing that little bit of extra due diligence. It's a subtle shift.
So they're still motivated.
Oh, absolutely. And we know that because of what they're willing to pay. Which brings us to the sold-to-list price percentage.
Mm-hmm.
This is really the ultimate measure of buyer aggression.
And what was that number? Because it really paints a picture.
The average for Duxbury in November was 101.8%. So on average, homes sold for 1.8% over the asking price. And this wasn't a fluke. It was up over 4% from October.
So on $1 million home, that's an extra $18,000 just to win.
Exactly. It tells you the list price isn't the real price. It's just the starting bid.
It's just the invitation to the auction. Okay, so let's shift from speed to that scarcity problem. This is where the Duxbury inventory issue becomes kind of acute.
It really is.
We looked at the active listings. The median list price for what was just sitting on the market was $1,395,000. But the truly shocking number from the MLS, there were only 4 total active properties in all of Duxbury for the entire month.
Just 4. It's an unbelievably low number.
4 houses for an entire town of buyers.
And that explains why the median list price is so high. The only homes that even last long enough to be counted as active are the most expensive ones. So the lowest price you could find was $915,000. But the average active price was way up at $1,952,500.
Just from those 4 homes.
Just from those 4 homes. The total active volume was over $7.8 million.
So if you're looking for that, that classic Duxbury home in the sweet spot, say under $1.2 million, it's just not sitting on the market. It's gone before it even counts as active inventory.
It's moving way too fast.
Let's break down those 4 listings because I think they show something important about how the market works. The 2 properties that were, let's say, closer to the median one in the $900 head of rain range and one are around $1.5 million, they were on the market for 17 and 18 days.
So still moving relatively quickly.
Right. But then you look at the high end. You had one property between $2 and $2.5 million that had been sitting for 147 days.
That's almost 5 months.
5 months. And then another one, a true luxury home over $3 million, that was on for 69 days.
And you have to ask yourself why. In a market with a 13-day median, what makes a house sit for 147 days?
Is it the location?
Yeah.
The layout?
It could be. Or, and I think this is more likely, you're hitting a price ceiling. Buyers are basically saying, look, I'll pay a premium for a $1.5 million house, but maybe not for a $2.2 million one.
Hmm.
It shows that demand, while it's strong, isn't totally limitless at the very top of the market.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if you're the agent on that listing, that's a pretty clear signal from the market that something needs to change.
For sure.
Now, what about new listings? The pipeline shows that Duxbury still has that full range of value.
It does. We saw new condos come on the market as low as $399,900. So there is an entry point.
But at the same time, you've got these huge, brand new luxury homes, like that one on Bay Road, listed for almost $4 million.
Exactly. $3,950,000.
Mm-hmm.
So new inventory is coming at all levels, but it seems like only the very top end is sticking around.
Which is the perfect setup for our next section. What
Uh-huh.
actually sold? Because what people ask for is one thing.
But what they actually get is the reality. And the median sold price for November was $970,000.
Okay, $970K. That was pretty flat month over month.
Yeah. Very flat. But here's the interesting part, the sort of technical disconnect. The RPR's median estimated property value for Duxbury is much higher. It's $127,950.
Whoa, hang on. That's a gap of more than $150,000.
It's a huge gap.
So as an agent, I'm immediately thinking, is the valuation model wrong, or is the sold data skewed somehow?
And that is the right question. My take is that the sold data is skewed by what's selling. The properties that actually managed to close in November were likely concentrated in that lower half of the market, older homes, smaller condos.
Got it.
So those sales pull the median sold price down, even though the true underlying value of a typical Duxbury single-family home is still well over $1 million.
That's a really important distinction for anyone trying to figure out where they stand. So let's look at those closed sales. There were 9 properties that closed, right?
9 total, for a volume of over $12 million. $12,211,000.
And the range was massive. The lowest was that condo for $375,000.
Yep.
But the highest was pure luxury, $2,875,000 for that new construction on Hawthorne Hill. So the market supported both ends.
It really did. And if you want proof of that 101.8% sold to list average, the closed sales give you the perfect stories.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, get this. The sale at 68 Depot Street. It closed for $500,000. The buyer paid a 16.53% premium over asking.
16%.
16.5%. That's an extra $82,000 that the seller got just because of the bidding war.
So for that entry-level price point, it's just scorched earth. Total competition.
Absolutely relentless. But it's not just at the low ends. Look at 15 Autumn Ave, closed for $1,350,000. This was a high-demand property. It sold for a 12.59% premium after being on the market for only 2 days.
2 days?
2 days. That's immediate, intense competition for a quality home. It means as a buyer, you have to have everything ready to go, financing, maybe even waiving contingencies. You have to be ready to pounce.
The level of preparation that requires from a buyer is just enormous. You can't be a casual shopper.
Not in this market.
And looking at the pending pipeline, we see that speed continue. 10 properties waiting to close. I saw one on Autumn Ave listed at $1.25 million go pending in just 3 days.
The market just keeps demanding speed. It does.
Okay, before we get to the final takeaway, let's quickly touch on a couple other dynamics. What about the rental market?
Right. Good point. So even if you can't buy, it's still expensive to get into Duxbury.
Yeah, the new lease listings, there were 5 of them, had a median list price of $3,400 a month.
And the one that went pending was even higher, at $3,900 a month. It just confirms how much demand there is to live in that town.
And what about distressed properties? I saw a note about that.
Yeah, we always look for anything that breaks that perfect picture. And we did see that 2 properties received a newly filed complaint in October. Now, these aren't foreclosures yet, but it's a little crack in the armor. It's a reminder that even in a soaring market, not every homeowner is having an easy time.
A good reminder that it's not a uniform experience for everyone.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you if you're watching this market? The synthesis is pretty clear. Duxbury is still a robust, quick-moving, and highly competitive market. All the key metrics, the 13-day speed, the 101.8% sales price, they confirm that buyer demand is incredibly strong.
But the inventory.
But the inventory, with only 4 active homes, is the choke point. It forces buyers to skip the negotiation and just compete on price, especially for anything under $2 million.
So here's the final thought I think you should take away from all this. When the average buyer is paying almost 2% over list and the best homes are gone in 48 hours, you have to realize something. The list price isn't really a price at all. It's a marketing strategy. It's designed to start a bidding war.
That's a great way to put it.
The list price isn't an offer to negotiate down from, it's an invitation to compete up from. If you're buying, the real negotiation isn't about price, it's about speed and having the most compelling terms.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
The Duxbury November market was tight, it was fast, and it was certainly competitive. If you have any questions about today's episode, or if you are thinking about buying or selling a house anywhere on Boston's South Shore, from Southie to Sagamore, give Jim Aldred a call. He would love to help you. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on the Pink Door Podcast.